at this box. I wonder what's in it. Maybe it's some kind of old treasure chest or old jewelry box with something valuable in it. Well, it is a bit dusty, so it clearly hasn't been used for a while. Let's see what's in there. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh dear, it's nothing but a bunch of paper. Oh, maybe it's a secret map. Oh, no, it looks like recipes. Old recipes. Well, this probably was a treasure to somebody at some point in time. Oh, hello there. Welcome to Grandma Kitty's house, and I'm Grandma Kitty, of course. I was just looking at this old box and wondering what was in it. I was kind of hoping there was some kind of a treasure in there, but it looks like it's just an old recipe box, yeah, with very old recipes in it. But, you know, it was probably new and exciting for somebody at some point. And that's how things start out, you know. Things start out, they're new and they're exciting, and then they eventually get old and discarded and forgotten. Yeah. Oh, you know, speaking of old, I have an old story here for you. This is a very old story. This is the house that Jack built, and this is so old that nobody really knows when it was first written. They think it might go back as far as 1590. My goodness, that's over 400 years ago. So the first illustrated printed version of it was in 1878, which still is quite a while ago. So what's that? What's it about? Well, it's kind of like a silly rhyme where things that aren't really connected kind of become connected. It's kind of hard to explain, so let me just read it to you. So this is the house that Jack built. And this was a Mother Goose rhyme. This is the house that Jack built. This is the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the maiden all forlorn that milked the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the man all tattered and torn that kissed the maiden all forlorn that milked the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the priest all shaven and shorn that married the man all tattered and torn that kissed the maiden all forlorn that milked the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the cock that crowed in the morn that waked the priest all shaven and shorn that married the man all tattered and torn that kissed the maiden all forlorn that milked the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat that chased the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. This is the farmer sowing the corn that kept the cock that crowed in the morn, that waked the priest all shaven and shorn, that married the man all tattered and torn, that kissed the maiden all forlorn, that milked the cow with the crumpled horn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that chased the rat, that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. That had a lot of, oh, and this is Jack. That had a lot of repetition to it, huh? That was an interesting story, huh? So that is a very old story. So today, I thought we could talk about old things, like this box here. Yeah, so this was just a recipe box. So this was back, a couple of generations, like maybe, well, my grandparents used recipes boxes, but maybe like your great-grandparents. So, you know, they didn't have like, you know, cookbooks, or they couldn't Google recipes like we do now. So they had recipes and they'd write them on cards and they'd share them with each other. And well, they're very interesting because it says to add a bit of this or a dash of that and bake it for a time. They're not quite, they're not anywhere near as specific as our recipes are. Ours will say add a quarter of a teaspoon of this and half a cup of that and bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. Yeah, but you know, back then they didn't always have what they needed, and they might have to, you know, be creative and add what they did have, because they didn't always have what they needed, and they couldn't just run to the store like we did. Yeah, so, oh, I have something very interesting here to show you. Let me show you. This belonged, oh, it's very heavy. This belonged to my husband's grandmother, and his aunt hated it. Do you know why she hated it? Well, here, let me tell you what it does. You crank the handle like this, and it makes the paddles inside turn, and do you know what it makes? It makes butter. Eventually. You crank it and you crank it and you crank it and you crank it, and eventually the milk or cream will turn into butter. But it takes a very long time to make butter. So the reason his aunt hated it was because when she came home from school, it was her job to make the butter. So her brothers got to go outside and play, and she got to stay in the kitchen and crank and crank and crank and crank and crank until she made butter. Aren't you glad you can just go to the store and buy your butter? Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't throw this thing away. She just didn't like it because it had bad memories for her. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine cranking until it turned into butter. All right, how about this? Do you know what this is? It looks like a vase. Yes, it probably could be used for a vase. It is a glass bottle. Now, I'll tell you, it says 1 quart liquid, so it held something that you might drink. You think it's a soda bottle? Yeah. Well, you know, back in those days, they didn't drink a lot of soda. Yeah, it wasn't as popular as it is now. Now, I'll tell you, I was watching an old Andy Griffiths episode. It was in black and white. And he took this out of the ice box. The ice box was the refrigerator. And he poured some for his son, and then he put it back in the ice box. Do you know what it had in it? Milk. This was a milk bottle. So when you were done with your milk, you didn't throw the bottle away. You washed it out, and then this box here is the milk box. You would leave this on your front porch, and you would put your empty milk bottles inside the milk box. And then the milkman would come in the morning, and he'd take out your empty bottles, and he'd put in fresh bottles of milk. And that's how you got your milk. So see, they had home delivery back then too. Maybe it wasn't DoorDash or delivery from Amazon, but it was the milkman bringing some fresh milk. Isn't that interesting? Oh, how about this? Do you know what this is? This belonged to my husband's other grandmother, and she used it all the time. Yet it is a cutter. It is a cutter. Yep. See, it's got a hole in the middle. Yeah. What can you think of anything that has a hole in the middle that you might cut out? I'll give you a hint. You go to Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Some of the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts do not have holes anymore because they have cream in the middle. But this is a donut cutter, and she used it all the time because she made donuts to sell. She had a little store, and she'd make donuts and sell them in her store. So she used this all the time. Oh, have you ever had a homemade donut? Oh, they are delicious. There is just nothing like them. Yeah, they are very good, but you got to be careful if you make them because they are cooked in hot grease, and grease likes to catch on fire. Yep. My sister tried to make homemade donuts one time, and she got her kitchen on fire. So if you make homemade donuts, oh, mom and dad definitely need to help you, and you need to be very careful. I think my sister needs to stick with Dunkin' Donuts, yeah, and avoid making her own. Yeah. All right, so let's see what else we have. Oh, this is a very interesting thing. Yep, this is my mom's. Yeah, we had a family get together, and I asked if I could borrow this from my mother. And so I was sitting at our family get-together playing with it, and my sister's grandchildren came over and they said, "Can I try that too?" So they played with it too, and we passed it around, and everybody took turns playing with it. And do you know what this thing does? I always called it an egg beater because you can beat eggs with it, yeah. But you can also use it to make pudding, or this is what they used before they had electric mixers, yeah. And you just crank it, and it mixes up all your ingredients together, yeah. And it is really fun to play with. I bet you would enjoy playing with it because, yeah, it is really fun, yeah. Okay, Grandma Kitty, put the egg beater away and move on to something else. Oh, look, this is something that's fun too. It also has a crank on it. It's not quite as much fun as the egg beater, but this is a flour sifter. Now, do you know where they used to use flour sifters? Oh, well, Back when people used to do a lot of baking, they would make cookies and breads and donuts and pies, and so they used a lot of flour. So they would get, instead of the little bags of flour that you get now, they would get these great big huge bags of flour, and sometimes it would be lumpy. Now it gets sifted at the factory, but then it didn't get sifted, so it would get lumpy. So you had to sift it to make it light and fluffy, but also there might be stuff in it, like there might be wheat particles or something in it, or since you had such big bags, sometimes bugs would get in it. Yeah, so you had to sift your flour to get out the wheat particles and the bugs. Aren't you glad you don't have to sift your food to get bugs out? Yeah, that's kind of gross, isn't it? Yeah. How about this? Do you know what this is? Yes, this looks like a weapon, huh? Yeah, my children would know what this is. What's that? No, I did not use it as a weapon. No, my method of discipline with my children was the timeout bench. It worked very well. They would sit on the timeout bench and think about what they had done wrong. It was very effective. Yeah. No, this is a rolling pin, and my children used this a lot. Do you know why? Because we were always making sugar cookies, and this is what you use to roll out your sugar cookies or your pie crust or gingerbread men. Yes, you would use this for gingerbread men or bread dough. Yeah, so we baked a lot, so we used this rolling pin a lot. So my children would recognize this and they would know that it's a rolling pin. Yeah, oh, how about this? Do you know what this thing is? Yeah, well, you know, I used to use this a lot. I had a daycare, and my helper at the daycare, one day we were baking, and this is a pastry blender, and I said to her, "Could you please get the pastry blender?" And she said, "Sure. You just have to tell me what it is." She had never seen a pastry blender before. She didn't know what it was. But when you're making pie crust, you put your flour and your salt and your shortening in, and then you just kind of chop it. You chop it with this pastry blender, and that blends it all together, and then you put your water in and then make it all into a dough and roll it out. Yeah, but see, I don't use mine much anymore. Do you know why? I'll tell you how I make my pie crust now. I go to the store and I go to the frozen food section and I buy my pie crust already made. Yes, that's the quickest, easiest way to make pie crust, and I don't notice the difference in the taste, no. So I very rarely use my pastry blender anymore. Oh, I got one more item here. Tell me what you think this is. It's a cute little pig. Can you see it? Isn't he a cute little pig? Do you know what this is? Look, the top comes off and you put something in there. What do you think you might put in there? Legos? You would keep your Legos in there? Yeah, you could. You would keep your jewelry in there? Your makeup? Yeah, I suppose you could store anything you wanted in there. But see, these were cookie jars. Yeah, so when people used to do a lot of baking, they would have cookie jars to put their baked goods in, and they would be shaped all different kinds of shapes and sizes. This one is a pig. I have one at home that's shaped like a Christmas stocking, and another one shaped like a cow. When my kids were little, I had one that was shaped like a mother mouse with a pink dress on. What's that? What happened to it? Well, you know, kids, they dropped it and broke it. Yeah, they're made out of ceramic, so if you drop them, they will break. But they didn't work very well for cookie jars because you couldn't seal them and the cookies would get dried out and hard and crunchy. Yeah, so, you know, nowadays people just go to the store and buy their cookies, you know, so you don't really need a cookie jar anymore. So I don't think many people use them, but no, they used to get used a lot. So yeah. Oh my goodness, we've talked about a lot of things. I think I got everything here, and these were all things that I used in the kitchen, things that people used to use for baking and don't use so much anymore because now they go to the store to buy their stuff. But I think it's time to move on to something else. So let's do move and groove. And today I brought every good thing because these were all good things in their time. Yeah, so remember that your heart was made to be, and it just loves it when you get up and move around. So hop up off that couch and join me. All right, let's see what we got here. Here we go. right, how did you do? Did you get up and move and groove and get some exercise? All right, very important to get exercise. All right, so let's check our bee bag. So remember that our bee bag are the things we want to be. Oh, I like this bee. Look at this. This says to be creative. Oh my goodness. I like to be creative, don't you? Yeah, do you know what a creative person is like? Well, I'll tell you. I peeked in the bag ahead of time, so I knew what was coming. So I did a little research on creative people, and what's that? Was that cheating? Did I cheat by peeking? Oh, I wouldn't really call it cheating, no. I mean, it's important to be prepared, right? You like getting your schoolwork done on time, yeah, and being prepared for a test. You're not going to score well if you don't study and be prepared for your test, right? So it's a very important thing to be prepared. So Grandma Kitty is prepared. So let me show you what I've got here. Let me turn my poster around. Oh, look at this. This looks kind of creative with all these bright colors, huh? So this is some of the things that our creative people are. So let's talk about them. A creative person is curious. Are you curious? Yeah, that means that they like to check things out. They like to experiment, you know. So I was just over at the ocean a while ago, and I was looking at the ocean, and as far as you see, it's water until it meets the sky. And you know, people used to think that if you went too far, you'd fall off the ocean because the world was flat. But someone was curious and checked it out and sailed off and found out that the world is round and there's land on the other side. And aren't you glad someone was curious? Because they discovered America, and we wouldn't be here today if they hadn't been curious, right? So yeah, I'm glad someone was curious enough to check it out. Yeah, so creative people are also imaginative. Yeah, they like to be artistic and paint pictures and write songs and write stories. I like to write stories, yeah. So creative people are playful. That means they're friendly and they're funny and they don't take things too seriously. You have to have a sense of humor in life. You know, if you take everything seriously, you're going to be stressed out all the time. Yeah, so creative people are courageous. Yeah, that means they're not afraid to explore, like those men who sailed off and found out that the earth was really round. Yeah, and creative people are resourceful, and that means that they find solutions to problems. They look around them to see what they can use to help them solve problems and come up with something that works. So creative people are, daydreamers. Oh, that's me. I like to daydream. Now, that doesn't mean that you sit around and you stare at the ceiling and you don't pay attention to what's happening around you. No, not that kind of daydream. It just means that you like to think pleasant thoughts and fun things about what you want to do with your life. And, I'll tell you, Grandma Kitty is always making plans about things she wants to do. You're never too old to dream, right? No, not at all. So creative people are also open-minded. That means that they don't think that their way is always right, that or the best. They know that someone else's point of view might be better. There might be more than one solution to a problem, and maybe somebody else has a better idea than they do. Creative people are risk takers. That doesn't mean they like to do risky, dangerous things. No, that's not a good idea. You never want to put yourself in danger. Safety is always very important. That's the most important thing. It just means that they're willing to accept a challenge. They're not going to give up and quit just because things aren't going well. They're going to accept the challenge and move forward. And creative people, they adapt easily. I like that one. Yeah. Do you know how Grandma Kitty always says you should always have a plan B, right? Because plan A doesn't always work, right? Yeah. Your original plan quite frequently will not happen the way you want it to. Yeah. So creative people, they don't freak out when things don't go right. They just come up with a different plan. Yeah. They find something else that will work. Yeah. They just adapt. And I like this one. Creative people follow their hearts. Yeah. I think it's important to use your head. You need to use your head and think things through and make good decisions. Yes, that's very important. but you also need to think about other people too, and your heart cares about other people, so you need to follow your head and your heart. I mean, use your head, but follow your heart and think about other people and what they need. And do you know what I think? Looking at all this, I think maybe I'm a creative person. Yeah, I have a lot of these traits. Do you have a lot of these traits? Yeah, yeah. Well, if you don't, you can make it a goal to acquire some of these traits. Yeah. And one thing that's not on here is that creative people are go-getters. They don't like to just sit around and waste time. They like to go get things done. And that's me. I like to get things done, you know. I have so much creativity that sometimes it keeps me up at night. Yeah, I wish at night I could just shut my brain off and go to sleep. Just tell my brain to take a break and give me a rest. Oh my goodness. So, did you learn anything new today? Anything new about something old? Yeah, you learned what a pastry blender is, yeah, yeah, and a donut cutter too, yeah, yeah, and you wish your mother had a cookie jar so you could sneak cookies when you're hungry? Yeah, yeah. My children used to do that too. Yeah, and my grandchildren probably would if I had a cookie jar. Yeah, and the sifter is a lot of fun. Yeah, and I really wish that I could hand this to you and let you take a turn with the egg beater, because it really is a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah. But you know, these are all things that were new at one time, new and exciting and improved, and things that people used, and now they're kind of just old and tucked away in some closet or drawer somewhere and don't get used anymore. Yeah, but you know, maybe I'll put some of these to use. Maybe I'll try to make some of my own donuts and not catch my kitchen on fire like my sister did, and use my rolling pin. Maybe I can make some sugar cookies with my grandchildren and we can roll the dough out. And I don't think I'm going to use the pastry blender though. I'm pretty content with going to the store to buy my frozen pie crust. But yeah, maybe I'll try using some of these. One thing I'm definitely going to avoid is churning butter. I just don't have time for that. Well, I hope that you learned something new, and we learned what these things are and what they do. And yep, they were new and exciting once. Yeah. Well, I hope that you have a wonderful day. You take care. You stay healthy, safe, and happy. And Grandma Kitty will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.